Nollywood lovers, fans, casual viewers, and complete newbies. It's the Exploring Nollywood podcast, and I'm your host, Mimi. And setting herself to be introduced is
Antonia. It's Tony in a brand new location, guys. That is the ambiance, the acoustics. They're different now. You're welcome.
Today, we're giving you our review of Gangs of Lagos. This isn't a review podcast. To be honest, Antonia is the one making me do it.
It's a great film. I want to talk about it.
Yes.
You said no, hold on. You're the one that wanted to review Shantytown, and now I want to review something, and all of a sudden, oh, it's not a review podcast, but...
As I was saying, now Gangs of Lagos is the first original Amazon Nollywood movie. Yes, Amazon produced it. It's the very first one. Yay!
You couldn't just add like a sound bite of someone clapping?
Written and directed by Jade or Jade, we're not sure.
Oshigberu.
Thank you, Oshigberu.
Also written by K.I. Jegede. I don't know if he's related to Yvonne Jegede.
A simple Google search could have told you that.
I didn't want to.
But yes, written by Jade Oshigberu and K. Jegede. Produced by Jade Oshigberu.
Directed by
Jade Oshigberu. Now, can we talk about her for a minute? I love this woman, visionary producer on a lot of movies that you would know, such as Isoke, Giddy Up, and Sugar Rush. So she's been producers on some very high-profile film, and so this time she was like, you know what? I'm not only gonna be writing, I'm gonna be directing too, and so she did.
She did her thing.
She did that. She did that.
T-H-A-T.
She ate no crows.
Oh God.
She really snapped with it.
I'm actually sick of it.
Etc. But fun fact about this film: do you know it actually comes before Brotherhood? Yes. Have you watched Brotherhood, Antonia?
No.
She has not watched Brotherhood. Fun. But anyway, this was made and produced in 2021. And actually, if you pay close attention, you would actually notice that it is older than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a semi-prequel to Brotherhood. And I think it really serves as a good prequel. I love the world that these two films are building. I love the world that she's building. Can we talk about action movies? I mean, that is coming. Next podcast episode, guys. Action movies. I think in Nollywood, we've been very good at producing action movies. It's not every time gish, 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 gish. But we do try with the gish, gish.
No, I that's one thing that I was thinking about with this film. I think when we go on to talk about the production a lot more, then we'll touch more on it. But I think this is one of the parts that I think New Nollywood does very well when emulating Hollywood.
Would you say it's emulating Hollywood?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the production style. So I think with this kind of films, whereas before you just have like people fighting and stuff, I think these had like choreographed.
Yeah.
Had choreographed fights, had stunt coordinators, had props people. You know, I feel like you could tell that there was another element, or there was like an increased attention paid to these little things.
Yes, I agree.
Where on a Hollywood set, these are things that you'd normally see, and it will be completely... It's something that has to be there, whereas on Nollywood, we don't get it as much. We sort of rely on the directors, and we rely on maybe even just the actors to know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
whereas
true.
This has like an elevation of the craft, where it looks so good, guys.
It
so
does.
Good.
In fact, cinematography, production. You know what? We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the storyline, the plot, first of all. Before we go on to that, I just want to say I had to think about action movies. And with action movies, although the plot of this movie is really good, with action movies, you don't really have to invest that much in the plot. It can just be a good-looking film. I think this film does go above and beyond, and gives us good plots, good characters, people you can root for, people you can hate. You know, a complete world that we're being introduced to and everything. And some political satire.
I didn't see any satire in this film.
What do you know about Nigerian politics?
Not much.
Exactly.
I don't think anything was funny about what they were saying about Nigerian politics.
I didn't say it was funny. Satire doesn't have to be funny.
I think that is the complete point of satire, Marianne.
I don't know.
Satire has to be funny. Else you're just making a point. It's not satire.
Well, some people are saying that even though this was made in 2021, it's echoing our current political situation vis-a-vis our president-elect. You didn't hear it from me. Okay, so can we talk about the storyline, the plot, the synopsis, whatever it is? What is the story of Gangs of Lagos?
Officially, it's on IMDb. It's that a group of friends who each have to navigate their own destiny growing up on the bustling streets of a neighborhood of Ishaleku, Lagos. So it's a story of three friends, how they navigate growing up within, how gangs come into play in their lives, and one of them, their parents died.
Yeah, okay. Would I call it an underdog story? Would you call it an underdog story?
It wasn't an underdog.
So we have three characters. Well, it's mainly focused on one character and then another character. So a main character and two very important side characters. But played by Toby Bakare, Adeswa Atomi, and
Chike.
I was
fine boy Chike.
the bull of the
bullets.
Wasn't expecting him to pop up, but played by these three actors very well. And basically, Toby Bakare's character was adopted by this other gang member who wanted him to have a better life. And then this guy was killed and he had to join the gang. I think it was saying some very interesting things about father figures and the choices that people have to make.
And I think it says a lot as well, especially for who you find out is the villain. Spoiler alert, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go and watch the film. I don't want to hear anything in comments. Who ends up being the villain, where you see that he has this sort of laissez-faire approach to other people's children.
Yes.
And putting them in harm's way and saying that they have to live this life. Whereas his own child, he's sending her abroad, he's buying her a house, he's like sending people to protect her. And I'm like, from the start of it, and I'm like,
this man is sus. Well, I always knew he was going to be the villain.
Right? I knew from the start.
I feel like it was a bit similar to Brotherhood, in like you could tell who the villain was going to be. There's a secret villain that was actually quite obvious from the beginning, and you can tell, oh yes, he's the one that killed this person, he's the one that killed that. Yeah, were there any surprises in the plot for you? It was a bit predictable, but
I wouldn't say it was predictable.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it, I feel like having an idea of where a story is going doesn't make it predictable.
Okay, I agree with that.
But I knew the first man was going to die.
Yes.
And Nino's character, he was too good of a bad guy.
Yeah, he was just carrying a big "gonna be dead soon"
sign on his head.
He's like Mama in a village film.
Mama, he was always going to die. Especially like someone's like, oh, if he succeeded in whatever he was doing, there was not going to be a plot for the film. So he had to die.
Okay,
and I also knew that the other small boy was going to die.
How did you know that? I didn't see Chike's death coming at all.
The start. I knew he was going to die.
He was too good for the world.
He's too cute. He's too innocent. They are going to kill this boy. Because if they don't kill him, then there's nothing that is going to push the other boy
you could
do something.
Climax. Well, I think... So I won't say it's predictable. It's just that we know how films work.
We know how films work.
Right.
I think it's whilst it's predictability, I think you'll find a lot unfortunately in Nollywood you find films that are predictable because we've seen these stories before. But I think this kind of film, it's a different type of predictability. It's I know this is coming. Yeah, exactly. I know this is coming. I'm expecting it. However, ooh, how beautifully done was that?
Well, yeah, I did find that the plot was very good. Pacing.
I won't say I disagree. I think they spent too long on them as children.
I actually...
I think the scenes with them as children lasted. Like, I get the parts of it that they wanted to show, and those parts of it needed to be in the film. So him stealing this thing, him meeting the Oba, him Alagba scene, him going to the other people, getting adopted. I think those scenes needed to be there
to establish motives. Yes.
But I don't think they needed to be as long as they were. I don't think they needed to spend as much time on them as they did, because I feel like then other scenes could have been a bit longer. So I think the point of it where he realizes that Kazim is actually the one that is behind all this I think that was far too quick.
Okay, so you feel like the pacing was a bit
It was good. Like, the pacing overall was good, but I feel like if you break it down into specific parts, those parts were either too long or too short. So I can't say that overall. I can say overall the pacing was good, but if you like breaking, when they were children, pacing was a bit slow. When he realizes the villain, that was a bit too quick. When they gathered all the people to fight, that was so fast.
And you know what I was thinking about when he armed all the gangs in Lagos, I was like,
That's not gonna go well.
This is not gonna come to bite in the ass.
You're now assuming that everybody has the same one goal at that one time. Sure. In 2 weeks' time, do we still have the same goal?
No, they're gonna be killing each other.
Do we still have the guns though? Yes.
Exactly. Well, yes, we can talk about the morality of the character. Yes. Was our main guy moral? No, he was in a gang. And he held a knife to a child when he was a child. That dude was never going to do good. And I know he had the plan of going to America, so that was never going to happen. We knew that was never happen. But I was thinking, what if I held out that little bit of hope? But yes, our main character was not a moral one. And in the end, he becomes the alaye of everywhere. And good for him.
Elenia.
I don't know, man. I'm not Yoruba.
Neither am I, but I remember the name that they gave them.
Okay.
Just saying. And some of us are more committed than others.
What would you give the plot?
I'd give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, I think I would give the plot 8.5 too. I agree. Okay, let's move on to talk about acting. Of course.
Oh, the acting was fantastic. That's it. That's the only line I have.
I cannot call out anyone for being bad. I just can't.
Everybody was
even the extras were bringing it. Like,
everyone was so good.
Adeswatomi did her thing.
Adeswatomi is always going to do her thing.
Yeah, Toby Bakare, I love how he's becoming like the action star. He's this generation's Gentle Jack.
I respectfully disagree and decline. Thank you very much.
Excuse you, put some respect on Gentle Jack's name.
Exactly. Put some respect on Gentle Jack's name.
I'm just saying that he's
becoming this generation's action star, yes, but I'm not going to attribute him to Gentle Jack. How dare... Gentle Jack was he Moses? Marianne, let's not do this today.
Okay, sorry. As I was saying, everybody was nice. Bimbo Ademone did her role too. I suspected. I was like, this one's not right. Why does she have a gun? And she's always pretending not to know about what her father is up.
She didn't have a gun.
She had a gun when they kidnapped her.
She got it from somebody else. She got it from somebody else.
Oh, okay. Okay. But what I'm saying is that she knew what her father was up to completely. She knew it. And I'm sorry, Toby Bakare's character was blinded by something else. He was not considering everything, but she was not a good person. She acted really well. Who's your MVP?
MVP would be Chioma Chukwuka Akpota.
Oh, yes.
That funeral scene, Marianne.
See, this is why I've always said...
Oh, my God.
This is why I say veteran actors, don't sleep on them. She chopped it.
That funeral scene was amazing.
And... lovely.
Was the evil inside. You could see like she was sad and she was. Oh my! I could clap, but Chukwuka, see my shoulder. I've raised it.
Raised it for her. Yes,
I've raised the shoulder.
So most valuable player for you is Chioma Chukwuka.
I think so.
I think my most valuable player has got to be Chike. I didn't even know Chike could act.
I didn't know it was Chike until I read about it. I'm like,
I was like, this dude
chicken.
looks familiar.
He did, but it was Zlatan himself. Zlatan carry him himself enter film.
Yeah, he was very good. I was like, this dude looks familiar too. But he was very good. No, the acting was very good.
Fantastic.
Veteran actors, new actors, just mwah. You know, this is what we love to see.
Even in Yvonne Jagede's small part that she was there, she killed it good too.
What do you mean even Yvonne Jagede?
She was in the film for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the acting was really well. And the thing about an action movie is that the acting has to be believable.
Yes.
It has to be believable. Otherwise, it just looks plain silly.
It just looks weird. Actually, I want to give a very, very special mention to the child actors that were in this film.
yes, the child actors. Watch out for them.
Absolutely.
Watch out for them.
Fantastic.
Watch out for them. Oh my god, do you know what though? Do you know what I was really craving? I was really craving a transition. I was really craving a transition, but they didn't give me that.
No, Marianne, I swear to God, yeah. It's not a Nollywood movie. But to me, one of the best young to old transitions I've ever seen in my life is that one show, that one performance that they did in Presentation.
Oh yes.
My
secondary school.
Marianne, my mind was absolutely blown away. I'm like, what's happening? Why they bring it?
It's transition.
Have you ever seen and the crowd goes wild?
Yes.
Ooh.
And from then on I learned a lot.
Ooh.
A good age transition. And they didn't give me that.
That's true, yeah.
They didn't give me that. But
and I think it actually took me a while to recognize who was who.
Yes.
Because I initially thought, because I don't think I paid too close attention to the names, because the names changed. 1 second, one was Ife, then he was Panama, then he was Obalola, and then
that's why we're just going to name them by the actors.
So that was a bit. I think maybe that was a bit confusing. Maybe that was just me not paying as close attention.
No. I was paying very close attention. I
didn't know who was who when they changed. I think the only time that I realized who was when Chioma Chukwuka called him her son. I'm like, okay, now I know who is who. And then I realized after a while that Adesola Tomi's character was a small girl.
Yes. So
maybe it should have been clearer with the transition.
Yes, but that's just us.
That's just us. We have a craving for such.
What would you give the acting?
10 out of 10.
Oh, a 10. I can't
like. There's no part of it that I can say, that was bad acting. That was bad dialogue.
Oh yes. Done better. Can we also say compared to Shantytown, the dialogue was woo!
Absolutely amazing.
Sweet, delicious, on point.
The dialogue was great.
The mixing of Yoruba, Pidgin, Igbo, everything was nice.
There were no unnecessary monologues. I think Nollywood as a whole needs to come away from thinking that you need to monologue as a character. We're not, this isn't a theater, unfortunately. Like theaters, maybe you can get away with it because you have one character and they're speaking and nothing else is going on in the scene, so it makes sense. Whereas, I don't compare the two of them, but if you're comparing it to something like Shantytown, where they were just monologues all over the place in really mishmash place, and then monologue is now too like, this didn't have that. It was amazing. Yeah. So that then goes back to, if we're talking about pacing in terms of the dialogue and in terms of the speeches and in terms of the acting, very well done. The pacing was absolutely fantastic,
just on point. Like kudos. So for acting, I can't give it 10. I just can't. It's just not in my soul. 9.5.
If you round up 9.5, what is it?
I don't care.
She gives it a 10.
I give it a 9.5. You know how you can never get an A in English?
I got an A in English.
You can never get an A star in English?
I got an A star in English literature.
Are you smart?
Are you stupid? Are you also mad?
Alright, let's move swiftly on to directing. Now, yes. It was beautifully directed. Like, it's almost like there's nothing to say about this film. There's nothing to criticize
about it.
Just the things that we kind of wanted. But yes, the directing was nice, choreographed very well. There was I loved it. There was this one scene. It was when they were about to kill Pana. And
oh my God!
And that hall, not a hallway, but the aisle scene, that was perfect cinematography.
I saw it, I had to pause it, Mary, and I'm like, this boy is about to die!
Okay, you were caught up in the scene, the emotions. I was caught up in it. This is a beautiful scene.
There
This
was
is
so many
beautiful
of those,
composition.
though.
Yeah, but that one particularly caught my eye. But it was so well done. And do you know what? Do you know what that the directing did for us? We knew immediately that the beginning of the film was set in the past. How did we? They didn't tell anybody.
Was it in sepia?
No, there wasn't a change. There was no change at all. And yet immediately we knew. That's the power of directing. And so for this directing, I don't even to say too much. Sis, you crushed it. You ate. What else are the kids saying? You slayed. You killed it. You buried it. The directing was directing.
The directing was giving what it was supposed to give.
Yes.
It was doing what it was supposed to do.
But again,
The directing was directing.
so I'm going to give a 9.
I would agree.
9. No. Okay, let's go on to other things like the production values, the costumes. Costuming
Was yes from me.
Yes.
Now, whilst the style does not necessarily appeal to me, but I loved it.
But, you know, the epitome to me of costuming would be a film I watched called Jamestown. And it is a similar action type movie where it's set in the slums of Lagos. But they managed to create a look for it. Now, I'm not saying that this film should have done that because I feel like that would have broken the immersion. But it was bloody good costuming, but I've seen better, is what I'm saying. But I also have to say, the costuming again also gave us timelines.
Yes.
The costuming also gave us character.
Who? Yes.
Who is who? What's wearing what? Although I will not say, would you compare it to the costuming of Shantytown though?
I think the costume of Shantytown was a lot more obvious.
Yes. So I think the problem is that we are discounting costuming because there's something about this film that's very grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And if they had gone overboard in the costuming, it won't
have been as good.
So
Yes.
what are we saying?
It was normal and we love it.
It was normal. I won't say love it. It was normal and good and appropriate for the time for the film.
Wow. All right.
But cinematography, as I said, yes. Production values, yes. Choreography, yes.
I was going to say that we have to speak about the choreography of this film. No one is going to tell me that those stunts were not choreographed. No one's going to tell me that there wasn't somebody that was in charge of doing that.
Of course. If they were not, I would be very upset.
God, the fight scenes?
Okay,
not to evacuate. High kick here.
Yes.
Punch here.
Yes.
Even at Tommy doing flying kick to where.
Good. Well, stunts. Yes.
It was
at the end where the villain falls on the car. I was like, we have arrived. So really, the production
fight scenes were amazing. The props as well.
The props were good. The props were really good. Special effects.
There was this one scene, the butcher scene, where he kills the...
Oh, yes.
And then the man that stole from him. I'm like, there's naked. There's naked. Those is naked people.
Yeah, and they were hung upside down. I was like, damn, this took some thoughts. This was good. It was good. The special effects, the practical effects, although on Chike's face.
Yeah, but then I didn't really look at it so much.
You know what? I think if you can't do it, don't do it.
They didn't do it badly.
They could have done it better. I'm so sorry, but I'm holding the film to a higher standards.
Oh.
Yes. Unfortunately, everything else is so good that I cannot ignore Chike's face. I can't.
I didn't really look at it. I was still upset that he died. Even though I know he was going to die, I wasn't.
You remember?
Because and then the fact that he called her, too much. And then that one, at the same time, is in fact,
it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful. Stupid ass.
As if you don't have phone to answer. Oh God!
I mean, what would he have done?
He was supposed to be with her.
He was supposed to be with him. Yes. So that would have.
And if he wasn't alone, that wouldn't have happened. But I guess that was the point.
If he wasn't following girl, that's the daughter of your enemy.
Don't know it's the enemy, but there's levels to this thing.
No, but he knew that was the enemy because he said to her, "You are sitting comfortably while your father is sending teenagers." small boys to die.
So why did you not sleep with that?
That's a very good question. I mean, it made sense for the character, but for us, judging his stupid actions, it's a bit stupid. Anyway.
So how can you, I've been in love with you for how many years? But I hate you, but also...
it was very much giving Gardner's daughter, not Gardner's daughter, the servant of the family falling in love with the
Oga's daughter.
Come on, it was very much giving that. But
I actually like the fact that they didn't end up together.
Oh yes, and I'm hearing calls for a sequel, Teddy's Revenge.
Teddy's Revenge.
Yes, that because
what foot does she have to stand on? I hate... No, Marianne. I hate revenge stories here when it makes no sense. I know I killed you. I know my father killed your dad and also your father figure and also your friend. But how dare you kill him back? How dare you? I know he also did a lot of other awful
activities.
Awful things. But how dare you? Pardon my French, but fuck off with that.
Well, I just hope. Well, I don't know if I want to see.
I don't think Bimba. I love Bimba Dema, but I don't know if
she can bring it.
I don't know if she'll be able to pull off that kind of character.
That's true. I haven't really seen her done the bad.
Unnecessary rage. You have to have some kind of crease for that kind of character. I don't think she.
You don't think? Anyway, so production. What are you giving the production?
I'd give it production 9.
I would give it 8.5 because that Chike's face. I'm so sorry. You know what? That is actually unlawful. How dare I? Because of one thing? No, I give it a 9.
Good.
9.
Because Nollywood has been doing faces badly for years. We can't now suddenly change the game. We have to give some sort of leeway. And also, I was thinking as well, they didn't name like the stunt coordinator and things like that. I think that is something that we need to start recognizing.
Yes.
Because that's obviously someone that had, or a company or whatever, that had a hand in making the film as good as it was. So I think we need to start naming these.
How ironic that we are not naming the stunt coordinators.
I don't know who they are. Because they weren't named on the film. That's what I mean. If I knew who they were, I'd have named them, but I don't.
Okay. Any other comments about the film? Who in God's name was Alaye Bambam?
I don't.
They had never referred to anybody with that name before. I always suddenly asked, and then I was like, "Who is he? Who is he?"
No, the names. I think were not as established as they should have been. Because if they're throwing away names, I need to know who these people are.
Yeah, if they had those
like a freeze frame
or Chiron or something.
Yeah,
maybe. But yeah, that it was alright.
Because towards the end, I didn't know who his dad was. I mean, I knew his dad was, but I think they called him something else.
Yeah, and then they called him something else.
Yeah,
and they called him something else.
And then I couldn't realize who they killed and then who they did. It's like, so there was one part where the one that Kazim killed in the barber shop. But then there was now somebody that he didn't kill.
Yes, the Lagos guy.
Now then went London.
Yes.
But then I thought he'd killed London in the shop.
What?
So I thought it was London that he had killed in the shop. But it wasn't.
It was.
It wasn't.
What?
Exactly. I don't know. Because who was London? And also, why wasn't the other dude more pissed that they killed his dad? Like Zlatan. Wasn't that Zlatan's dad?
No, well, that was his gang leader.
Then who was his dad?
I don't think he had a dad in that film.
They said someone was his dad in that film.
They said they were the children of. It didn't mean that he was the dad. So yes, sometimes
that's very confusing.
Context-wise. But
overall,
love the film.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh really? I would give it a 9.
I'd give it an 8.
Why an 8?
Because I'm confused now.
Oh, okay.
I'm now confused.
I agree.
I know, like, the big parts of it I understand, but, like, the little parts that I think would add to the nuances of the show, I'm not entirely sure about.
Okay, I would give it a 9 because I can't give it an 8. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't. So, thank you for listening to us whine about the gangs of Lagos.
Go watch the film. We
It's
might
on-
have spoiled it for you, but go watch it.
It's on
It's good.
Amazon Prime. Just search it up. I would also recommend other films by the same producer/writer. So,
Director.
well, no, she didn't direct the others.
Oh, okay.
So we have The Trade on Amazon Prime. We have Brotherhood on Amazon Prime. You have Giddy Up. And if you're itching for a good action movie, I will always recommend Jamestown. I love that film so much.
I'd say also watch Shantytown. It's not
As
it's
good.
good. It's not as good, but it's
good,
really good.
It's good. All right, then I've decided that my outro will be see you later, Nollywood lovers.
I didn't like that.
Me
I
neither.
didn't sign that off on that.
I hate that.
So
Ooh,
bye.
signing off. No. See you in the next.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye will do for now. We'll figure it out later.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for listening and join us in our next episode.